Hey, you know what time it is? It's time for a short clip from the main show. We hope you enjoy this.
That's all right. It happens.
Yeah. Melissa Lantsman, liberal crime. It's the last thing before it says CBC.
Okay, let me just make sure I have the right clip here.
Melissa Lantsman was
Eh,
on CTV Power Play,
Okay, there we go. I got it.
so let you know. And they were asking about stuff. And Vashi Kapelas asked her a question straight up. And I want you to listen to her answer because there's a branding exercise going on here that really, really sent a chill up or down my spine.
The Conservative leader says if elected, his government would use the notwithstanding clause to restore consecutive life sentences for people convicted of multiple murders. In 2022, the Supreme Court ruled that imposing consecutive sentences violated charter rights. The Conservatives are not the only party, however, pledging tough on crime policies. Here to debate their approach to public safety is three of those candidates. Yasir Naqvi, is the Liberal candidate for Ottawa Centre in Ontario. Mellissa Lantsman is the Conservative candidate for Thornhill in Ontario, and Alistair McGregor is the NDP candidate for Cowichan, Malahat, Langford in BC. Hello to all three of you. Thank you very much for making the time tonight. I appreciate it. I'll start off, Ms. Lantsman, with you because your party made the announcement on crime today. And I wanted to ask you about the decision to invoke the notwithstanding clause. It's serious if you invoke it to pass a law. It means to do so, you're willing essentially to suppress a right as granted by the Charter. Can you be unequivocal that this and only this type of a law would be the only thing you use that for?
Well, I don't think I need to be unequivocal because the leader was unequivocal today.
crime,
He says that we will use the notwithstanding clause to end the decade of out-of-control crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder in our streets. And on this, I think you have to be insane to not believe that somebody who, in this case, killed 6 people while worshiping in a mosque is potentially out in 25 years. Not only does that re-victimize the families who have to sit through potential parole hearings, but this means that he's getting about 4.5 years or 4 and a bit for each of those murders. You can't get a bulk discount when you kill multiple people, and those people should be behind jail for life. And life should mean life, and judges should be able to give those consecutive sentences. And that's exactly what we'll do. We'll use the notwithstanding clause for this.
Just for this, to be sure, not for other things related to crime?
Well,
just this
on
one
this,
law?
on this issue,
haven't been specific
most
before.
certainly. And we will use the notwithstanding clause on liberal crime.
But
Liberal-driven crime in this country. But there is
that is a
nobody
different
that
thing.
believes that they are safer after 10 years in the streets. We've had gun crime go up by 160%. We've had violent crime, gang-related crime go up by 50%. We've had hate crimes in this country rise by 250%. And each and every person feels like they have been victimized in their own neighborhoods, on their own streets, in their own homes, taking public transit. So we will use the notwithstanding clause on this and on to fight liberal crime that they've unleashed into this country.
With great respect, that's two different things. And I'm not trying to take away from the criticism, and we'll ask your colleague about the record of the last 10 years on crime.
Well, he doesn't want to talk about the record of the last
Just let me finish. There's a big, just saying this one law and invoking the notwithstanding clause.
I love how Vasi's, I'm not putting up with your bullshit.
So, Melissa Lantsman just saunters in. Says a lot of words.
Mhm.
Is it going to be unequivocally for this? I don't have to be unequivocal because our leader was unequivocal, and then she turns out to be as clear as mud. Right? It's not applying to just this. It's applying to everything. And did you hear the term she used? And this is one thing you gotta keep on noticing. It seems every time, it seems frequently when Pierre Poilievre or her specifically make an attack, they always seem to choke on the attack.
Mhm.
They can't seem to get the attack out without choking on it somehow because they know it's a lie. Did you hear the branding? We're going to use the notwithstanding clause on liberal crime.
Yeah.
The party that pleaded guilty in court to cheat in an election, the party led by a guy that has a different prosecution agreement, the party that had a cabinet minister go to jail, wants to use the notwithstanding clause on liberal crime. Liberal crime. All those things that she mentioned there, those are hate crimes that got up 280%. Since when and how long compared to what? Of course, no doubt, just 200%, throw a number out there. That those are liberal crimes.
Well, let's take a look at
Drug
the
use
crime
is a
for a
liberal
second.
crime.
Let's take a look at the liberal crimes here for a second, as she says. I want you to watch this because Steve Boots is going to refute that in real time.
We will bring safety to our streets. By the way, I gather that Mark Carney is now talking about crime. This after Liberals unleashed a massive crime spree in our country with the
Massive crime spree. Massive crime spree. Massive crime spree.
Look at that graph.
Anybody see massive crime spree there? Anybody?
So it's just more garbage and lies from the conservatives.
Yep. But it's liberal crime.
Liberal. Lady, fuck is wrong with you? Seriously.
The party with criminality literally in its DNA wants you to be afraid of liberal crime, not crimes created by the Liberal Party, but just the crimes that you don't like. She wants you to think of them as liberal crimes, liberal-led crimes.
We'll go over that again.
Of a law would be the only thing you use that for.
Well, I don't think I need to be unequivocal because the leader was
He
unequivocal
said
today.
crime,
He
yeah.
says that we will use the notwithstanding clause to end the decade of out-of-control crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder in our streets. And on this, I think you have to be insane to not believe that somebody who, in this case, killed 6 people while worshiping in a mosque is potentially out in 25 years. Not only does that re-victimize the families who have to have to sit through potential parole hearings, but this means that he's getting about 4.5 years or 4 and a bit for each of those murders. You can't get a bulk discount when you kill multiple people, and those people should be behind jail for life. And life should mean life, and judges should be able to give those consecutive sentences. And that's exactly what we'll do. We'll use the notwithstanding clause for this.
Just for this, to be
For
sure,
this-
not for other things related
for
to
the-
crime.
Well,
just this
on
one
this
law? Because
on this issue,
haven't been specific
most
before.
certainly, and we will use the notwithstanding clause on liberal crime.
Choking on it.
Liberal crime. Hey, Mellissa Lantsman, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. What the hell is wrong with you? You're going to strip Canadians' rights away because you don't like the liberal crime. Yes, those crimes were committed by liberals. Yes, I'm sure it's in the liberal ideology to shoot up a mosque. That tends to be more on the right end of the spectrum, doesn't it? So fuck you, Mellissa Lantsman.
Right. And of course, we're supposed to believe that the party that's all in for Israel and that wants to deport people in Canada who happen to protest in favor of Palestine cares about Muslims. All of a sudden, cares about Muslim families, right? Life should mean life. Find me one person, multiple murderer in Canadian history who has been sentenced to 25 years who got that parole and was released after 25. Because she presents it as, right, she divides 25 by 6 and says you should get 4 years per person, get a bulk discount. That's a very effective populist argument. But the problem is, the reason you get 25 with a chance of parole is because, again, in our justice system, we believe that people are redeemable and we give them a chance to prove it. We don't throw them in and say, the only way you're coming out is in a box. We don't do that. And it doesn't matter how vile or awful you are. You are a human. You get that consideration.
Believe it or not.
That's the
Nazis-
principle behind it.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the principle behind it. The principle that people are reformable, that we don't give up on people. It's not a bulk discount. It's not shoot 3, get 3 free.
Look, my disdain for her is runs long and deep, and with that, it goes much further now. I physically hate that woman. I physically hate her. Like, she's framing this, the way she's framing it.
Yep.
And again, I belong to no political party. I never have, and I never will. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I don't belong to the Green or the NDP. I vote for the best candidate in my riding who will do the most for my community.
But
Who I
this
vote
is
for
not-
is my business. I don't tell that to anybody ever.
But this is not on.
This is bullshit. The hell is wrong with her?
Sold her soul.
Oh my God. I'm sure the rainbow communities, you're out. You're out.
So let's continue a little bit because she says another thing in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, that's a little huh?
But liberal-
Liberal-driven
okay,
crime in
but-
this country.
But there
Liberal-driven
Nobody
crime.
that believes that they are safer after 10 years in the streets. We've had gun crime go up.
See, that's a dog whistle.
Yep.
It's a dog whistle. And you'll have people who won't pay attention to what she said, and it will register with them. Oh yeah, the liberals are doing that. And again, let's go back over here and have a look. A statement from Steve Boots about how showing point blank, showing the graph in real time.
Talk about house arrest for a moment. Why do we do house arrest? Do you know why? Because incarcerating people is insanely expensive. Do you know what's a lot cheaper? Leaving them in their homes where they can be monitored and are responsible for their own food, their water, their hygiene, all that stuff. They take care of all that instead of needing to have institutional solutions for it. You don't need to provide bathrooms and showers and food and support and all this stuff. You just put them on house arrest. But more than that,